Hi friends, Edie Summers here. I just wanted to share a few things that I've learned, a few more things I've learned about chronic illness. There are so many people in my community that have some type of chronic condition, if not several. And I have a book on the subject, The Memory of Health, that covers issues regarding chronic fatigue, but also chronic illness. Sometimes that's related to having chronic fatigue, or you could be sick for another reason. Some new information that I learned that's not in my book that I wanted to share. And I just want to say that I'm hoping to do some interviews with some of these experts that I've been learning from along the way. So I'm going to share a little bit about what I've learned from them, and I'm hoping to interview some of them as well. So some of the new information that I've learned that may help if you have a chronic condition is, did you know that the thymus, I'm not sure how you say that, I think it's the thymus, located right in here, it starts to shrink as we age. And did you know that that can be implicated in that Th1 to Th2 shift that a lot of people experience, that are having, it's definitely an implication in chronic fatigue syndrome, where your immune system shifts from Th1 to Th2. But there's something called neuropeptides that are supposed to help rebalance out the immune system, and they can specifically help to rebalance out that Th1 to Th2 shift. So I wanted to share that because a lot of people who, I'm going to use my notes here because I've just learned this myself. So peptides can help balance out the immune system. It's good for people with chronic illness. And so some of the other things I learned is that they're called biomodulators. And so a lot of people that have chronic illness are more prone to infections. And I think that a lot of people in my community who have CFS, or even chronic fatigue for another reason that's related to a chronic illness, know that feeling well of sort of getting sick more easily from other infections as well. So neuropeptides are supposed to fine tune your immune system and supposed to help. So I'm just going to read. Yeah, so they're supposed to work more on the homeostatic level. So meaning that they help return homeostasis to your body. And pineal peptides can reverse the Th1 to Th2 shift. So, and again, I'm hoping to get some of these experts in interviews. Then some of the experts are in our group already. If you're on Facebook, come join our private group. It's called Chronic Fatigue Support. We have a lot of experts in there already, and I'm going to invite some more of these experts to join us and hopefully interview some of them as well. So I consider myself more of a health researcher. I'm an author. I did write the book of The Memory of Health. It goes into great detail about CFS, but also a lot of other chronic conditions, and maybe a lot of potential causes of chronic fatigue and CFS, but also contributing factors to chronic illness in general. So, and also a lot of tips that potentially might help you kind of reverse that pattern, or at least hopefully improve your symptoms and hopefully improve your well-being. So, but I'm always learning more information. So I love to do research, and I also am about health promotion and health education. So, so I'm going to share some more of my notes here. So again, the thymus shrinks a great deal by the age of 35, and what a lot of us have noticed, and I've also noticed this in the kind of statistics, is that a lot of people start developing CFS in their mid 30s. Now, obviously, some people are developing it much earlier. I developed it in my 20s, but I've definitely noticed a pattern where the average age is in kind of mid 30s, and by then your immune system can be a lot different, and you can be more prone to infections. So things that can also contribute to make it worse are stress, chronic infections, inflammation, toxins, and chronic illness. So these can all kind of, if I'm understanding this correctly, kind of contribute as well to more of that, where your immune system has shifted more from Th1 to Th2. And Th1, as far as I understand it, is immunity inside of the cell. Th2 is immunity outside of the cell. So I think you want to have more of a balance, if I understand it correctly. And a lot of people with CFS have more of a Th2 shift. Their immune system has shifted from Th1 to Th2. I believe if you have more of a Th1 dominance, it's more associated with autoimmunity, and more of a Th2 shift, I believe, is associated with like allergies, but also I think different types of immune reactions. I think maybe even like hyperimmune, I believe. So, and again, don't quote me on any of this. I'm hoping, like I said, to get some of these doctors and experts who really specialize in these subjects. I love to interview a lot of experts, health and wellness experts, and other authors as well. So yeah, so these are called pineal peptides, and peptides are supposed to work like a key into a box. And there was actually that really famous book that talked about neuropeptides. Candace Pert, she was a neuroscientist, and she wrote a book. I believe it's called, oh shoot, I forget what the body's called. But she had the quote, the famous quote, that your body is your subconscious mind. But she talked a lot about neuropeptides. She may have discovered them, if I'm remembering that correctly. I can't think of the name of Molecules of Emotion. That's the name of her famous book. She was a neuroscientist, and I believe she talks about neuropeptides. So your neuropeptides, as far as I understand it, and again, don't quote me on any of this, but some of them are everywhere in your body, and they kind of connect to your mind and body. And that's part of where the concept of that mind-body connection came from. I don't think she's the person that coined the term mind-body, but she, anyway, so she was talking about neuropeptides. Now there are, I guess, apparently several types of peptides, so neuropeptides. So, and some of them are associated with your pineal gland, and can also affect your immunity. So again, I'm going to get some experts on here who can go into a much more great detail about it. But pineal peptides are supposed to, if I understand it correctly, help your thymus gland. And again, which shrinks as you get older. It starts out much bigger when you're younger, and as it shrinks, by the age, again, of about 35, you can be more susceptible to infections. And I think a lot of people who have chronic conditions are going to say, like, that sounds like me. That's definitely been my experience. In some ways, my immunity is better, and in other ways, it's worse. If I work, let's say, in a school setting, or if I'm around a lot of people, I can get sick at the drop of a hat. But I also don't really get like the flu as much. But I can pick up all sorts of weird things, though, if my body's really stressed. That makes my immunity lower, which I think is true in general for people. But there are certain conditions, and apparently when your thymus has shrunk, that it affects your immunity. And so other things that can also affect it, though, again, are being, if you have chronic stress, chronic illness for some other reason, like say like CFS. And again, I'm sharing as much as I can understand, and I haven't had a lot of time to research this, but I wanted to share with you while it's fresh in my mind. But I've been researching health topics as they relate to CFS and chronic fatigue and chronic illness for a really long time, and so I have a pretty good understanding of a lot of subjects. And then when I hear them repeated, but in a slightly different way or with new information, then that's when I get really excited and want to share what I've learned, in case it helps you. So in short, if you have a chronic condition, there might be therapeutic ways that don't have side effects, including using something like peptides, neuropeptides, that might help improve your immunity. That's kind of the nutshell that I wanted to share. So they can fine tune the immune system. And this doctor was describing them a little bit like supplements, but more powerful. And they are much more fine-tuned in how they work versus a prescription drug that's more like a hammer. A neuropeptide more like fits like a lock into a key. So it has like a perfect fit versus a hammer where it's can have a lot of side effects if you're taking a prescription drug. And pineal peptides can reverse that Th1 to Th2 shift. And again, a lot of people that have chronic fatigue syndrome have a Th1 to Th2 shift. So in some ways their immunity gets better, and in some ways it gets worse. And again, so the doctor that I learned this from is Dr. Kent oh shoot, I can't read my handwriting. I think it's Holtorf. Uh, I hope I wrote down his name correctly. I'm going to find him. It's Dr. Kent Holtorf. He is a specialist in neuropeptides. I'm sure we can find him on the internet, and I'm going to do my best to interview him. There are also a few other experts that are experts in chronic fatigue syndrome who are taking patients. And again, some of them are in our group, on our private group on Facebook called Chronic Fatigue Support. You can come join us in there. And some of them I'm going to invite in there and or hope to interview. So I'm just always looking to bring you more information, anything that might help you. So I just wanted to share this with you in case it's useful. And I'll be back with another interview soon. I'm actually going to be talking about peace with one of my colleagues, Dr. Carol Francis, on Saturday. So we're going to do a podcast, and then we're going to jump on a live stream. That will be live streamed here on YouTube, and then I'll be sharing that everywhere on my channels. So she's written a ton of books, and she helps people overcome trauma, depression, anxiety, and we're going to be talking about the KISS method for inner peace. So again, I'm always researching information on health topics, wellness topics, and I have a book myself. It's called The Memory of Health. In case you aren't aware of it, this is The Memory of Health, A Journey to Well-Being. So it goes into great detail about how to improve your health and well-being if you have a chronic condition, or if you have chronic fatigue, or if you have CFS or ME, or even if you have another type of chronic condition like multiple sclerosis, RA, lupus, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, or if you've been through a major life challenge that has caused you a lot of trauma. It helps you build your resilience, practice self-care, learn about nutrition, and there are so many theories in there about chronic fatigue and CFS as well, and ME, in addition to a lot of theories about fibromyalgia, lupus, RA, MS. So it's very comprehensive. It took me 10 years to write, and I've been a wellness professional since 1995, so it's something that I love to do. I love to talk about health, promote health and well-being topics, and help people in any way I can to improve their health and well-being. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.